What's up, y'all? Welcome back to another video, and in today's video we are going to be talking about one of the Detroit Lions free agent signings this offseason, and that guy is Jamie Collins. So let's get it started. Welcome into today's video, everybody. Hopefully you guys are glad you clicked on today's video. You should be glad you clicked on today's video because you should always be glad. I'm glad you clicked on today's video. I'm glad you're here. And today we're talking about Jamie Collins. Now, I spent the last couple of hours watching Jamie Collins because I was considering at first putting together a ranked list of every free agent signing the Lions made from other teams. And as I'm going through it, I'm saying to myself, is it even fair to make this list if I don't have a video on every player we brought in? Not really. I don't think it is. I want to make sure I have a video and a breakdown on every single one of these players. And some of these videos, I didn't love it. So what I decided to do was go back and make sure I get every single player. We've done a lot of players, but not all of them. Okay, there's definitely some more to touch on. Some videos may be shorter than others. But today I wanted to focus on Jamie Collins. And I kid you not, I've watched basically 4 football games of Jamie Collins. 4 football games. That's why you're waiting so long for an upload. Watching, I'm looking, okay, what does he do well? What does he not do well? Is this a good free agent signing? Because last time I made my top 5 free agent additions or off-season additions, I think I had Danny Shelton above Jamie Collins. And at the time, it seemed like it made sense, right? 2 years, $8 million. That's a great contract compared to 3 years, $30 million to a 30-year-old linebacker that struggled when he left New England, right? Every time he was with Cleveland, he was a little bit worse than what he was with New England. Now, I think he's going to be fine because New England, you know, the same kind of defense is run here in Detroit. But I'm looking at it and I'm saying, yeah, you know what? The contract's a little bit, you know, bigger. Maybe there's more risk to it because he is already 30 years old. But then I'm also thinking to myself, you know what's more important though than having a good contract? Being a good player. If you get a great player that's great on the field and does everything well, that's really important. And sometimes you just have to pay for those guys. And the Lions did that. Now, they didn't go overboard, but they did pay some money. I mean, $30 million for 3 years for a 30-year-old linebacker is some money. But at the same time, I'm watching him and I'm saying to myself, this player is really good. And when I'm trying to come up with strengths and weaknesses as I'm watching this guy continuously, I'm not seeing a guy that, you know, is quiet for like a couple of drives and all of a sudden, boom, he flashes on my screen, maybe gets a sack, maybe gets a pick, and I'm like, oh, snap, that's good stuff. That's not what I'm seeing here. He's not like a human highlight reel. What I'm seeing here is a guy that just does everything well. He can do whatever you ask of him. I mean, literally, he doesn't have any big enough weaknesses where I'm looking at him saying, oh, that's something that's going to hold him back. I mean, he's not great at everything. You know, he could be a better blitzer. I don't think he's even the best blitzer on the Lions now. But he does everything well enough where he doesn't have enough weaknesses, and if you need to put him in any situation, he can. I'm thinking to myself, this is probably the best linebacker the Lions have had since DeAndre Levy had a huge year, what was it, back in 2014? This is a really good player, and he does everything, and he's going to pull together this defense, and this could be that missing piece. This could be that piece to take the Lions defense over the top. This is that guy that can mentor all these young guys and teach them how to be the next linebackers that step up to be the future. This guy does everything well, and he can play literally anywhere you need him. He can play man-to-man defense in the coverage. He can play zone defense. When I look at Jared Davis, I say, yeah, you can blitz. You're pretty fast. You're pretty athletic. You know, his combine was incredible, and you're a good run stopper. But in coverage, that's not very good. When I watch Jamie Collins, I don't say that. I say he can cover. I say he can stop the run. He can blitz. He's pretty fast. Not the most. He's pretty fast, though. He's just pretty good at everything. He can play literally any linebacker position you need him to. Like, you can put him in the inside. You can put him on the outside. Heck, you can throw him on the D-line in certain situations if you have to. He can do it all. The 6'3", 250-pound linebacker has so much versatility. And that's the name of the game in Detroit Lions defense. And that's why I think he's going to fit really well with the Lions because, again, when he was successful, he was with the Patriots. You can look all the numbers all you want. Last season, 50 solo tackles, 3 interceptions, 3 forced fumbles. Good numbers. But just watching him, and I'm just saying, man, he just does things so well. He's such a smart player. He's like the leader of the defense. He's like the quarterback of the defense. He's running everything. And that's what the Lions have needed defensively, especially once they lost their veteran safeties and Glover Quinn and then Quandre Diggs. Once they lost those guys, they didn't have a guy like that. Even at their linebacker group, across the defense, they didn't have that. Now bringing in Jamie Collins, they do have that. They have that guy that can run the defense, that can be the guy that everybody looks to, the guy that kind of just manages everything defensively. He's great at shooting run gaps. He's great with his decision making. His play recognition is really well. He doesn't make too many major mistakes. For example, if a run goes one way, he'll be that guy to wait on the other side and make sure the quarterback didn't keep the football. He's just a smart player. He's a very, very smart player. He can quarterback spy. Like I said, he can cover, he can blitz, he can run stuff. Whatever you need him to do, he can do it. And that's why I love the Jamie Collins. And I'm looking at it, I'm saying to myself, yeah, when I rank these players, this guy's number 1. Because while he may not be the most flashy player, he's probably the most consistent player I've looked at. Every player I've looked at so far has had inconsistencies. And so does Jamie Collins, but not as often as all the other players I've looked at. This guy just gets it done, game in and game out. And while there are some concerns with age and contract size, he just gets it done. Okay, he gets it done. I mean, literally, the only weaknesses I could come up with is that sometimes when he's one-on-one rushing against a tackle, you know, he's not super consistent with that, but he can run stunts. One-on-one against a lineman, he's not always great, interior lineman or tackle. And you see that a lot with linebackers, but he's just not great with that. You know, that's kind of what I see. I see laterally, he's not the most quick player. He's not the quickest player, but he's really good at recognizing what's going on. He's always has his head to the football. He's always playing through the whistle. I'll keep this video short and sweet. He's not the most athletic. He's not the fastest. He's not the strongest. You know, he's not the best coverage guy. He's not the best blitzer, but he does everything well enough where you can say there's not enough weaknesses here. You know what's crazy is that when I look at teams every year and I say, okay, can we beat this team? Can we beat this team? I look and say, okay, is this team complete? You know, what are their weaknesses? Are they a team that only can do one thing, that relies on something heavily? You know, are they just a rushing team that needs that run game to work? But if you shut that run game down, they really don't have a lot to stand on. Then that's the team that I think, okay, maybe the Lions can beat them if they can take that away. It's those teams that can run, but if you take that away, they can pass. It's those teams that defensively that have good pass defense and you try to run, they can stop the run. It's the teams that are complete. When I look at Jamie Collins, he's a complete player. Not the best at anything. I wouldn't say even the best at anything. He might be the best coverage guy on their team now, best coverage linebacker on their team now. But across the league, he's not the best at really anything as a linebacker. He's just good at everything. He's a complete player. He's going to pull this defense together. He's a mentor. He's been through it. He fits the scheme. I love this signing. This will be number one when I rank the Lions offseason signings. Okay, when I rank their free agent signings, he's going to be number one because as I watch him, I'm just impressed time and time again. Let me know your thoughts, comments below. Thank you for watching, and I'm out.